In the winter of 2019, a newly opened fish hot pot restaurant in a small city in Sichuan province experienced an unexpected incident that shocked everyone. A couple in their 30s brought their 7-year-old son to eat, but the child's behavior, combined with the parents' lack of discipline, sparked the frustration of everyone present. Just when it seemed there was nothing anyone could do, the family was faced with a tragic consequence. Welcome to Red Eastern True Crime. If you like true crime stories, please subscribe to my channel. Let's dive into this story. Sichuan hot pot is known for its numbing and spicy flavors, a signature dish in Sichuan and Chongqing. Known for its unique taste and variety of ingredients, it's famous throughout China and even worldwide. The broth, made with beef tallow, chili peppers, Sichuan peppercorns, and other spices, serves as a base for a wide range of ingredients, including various meats, vegetables, and seafood. More than just food, hot pot is a social event, where family and friends gather around the bubbling pot, cooking and eating while chatting, creating a lively atmosphere. In 2019, a hot pot restaurant in a small city in Sichuan province became popular for its signature dish, sour fish. On weekends, diners often had to wait in line. Although the restaurant saw a steady stream of customers, the owner and staff couldn't forget about one family in particular. Their young son, who we'll call Jay. Jay, about 7 years old and in elementary school, had been a regular at the restaurant with his parents since it opened. That day, Jay and his parents returned to the restaurant. The owner quietly reminded the staff to avoid conflict with this family, unless necessary to avoid inconveniencing other customers and hurting the business. As soon as Jay and his parents sat down, Jay grabbed the menu, pointed at random dishes, and then asked the waitress, "Did you get this?" When she said yes, Jay said with a mischievous grin, "Never mind, I don't want any of this." The waitress's smile faded, but Jay's parents just laughed, showing no intention of stopping him. After placing their order, Jay's parents began impatiently demanding their food by the minute. Meanwhile, Jay, unable to sit still, wandered over to the self-serve condiment station, using the communal spoon to eat sesame paste and grabbing fruit with his bare hands. Finding the watermelon unappetizing, he spat it out and began throwing chopped scallions and cilantro into the air, turning the once clean station into a mess. A young woman making her condiments nearby witnessed the entire scene and yelled at Jay to stop. Instead of obeying, Jay threw food at her, made a face, and ran off. A waitress quickly came over to calm the woman down and clean up the mess. Jay treated the restaurant like a playground, running around and even taking food from other customers' tables. When reprimanded, he'd make faces and run away, even snatching a toy from a little girl, prompting her parents to chase him down. When their food finally arrived, Jay's mother urged him to sit down and eat, but within minutes he was off and running, bumping into customers and nearly tripping a server carrying a hot pot. Finally, a frustrated customer approached Jay's parents and asked them to control their child and stop him from running around the restaurant. Instead of apologizing, Jay's mother rolled her eyes and said, "He's just a kid. Why are you, an adult, making such a fuss? Can't you cut a child some slack?" A young waiter then added, asking Jay's parents to keep him from disturbing other guests. Jay's parents got up in a huff and started yelling at the waiter, "Who do you think you are? How dare you talk to my son like that?" Jay's father even looked ready to punch the waiter, but the owner quickly stepped in to defuse the situation and offered the angry customer a free dish. Jay's mother scoffed, "Don't think you can appease us with a free dish." The owner calmed her down by promising a discount on her bill. Although the other patrons and staff were well aware of Jay's behavior, most chose to mind their own business, hoping to avoid confrontation with such unreasonable people. Jay finally sat down and ate quietly for a while his parents concentrated on their phones and barely interacted with each other. At the next table were two middle-aged men who seemed to be in a foul mood, eating and drinking with sighs. Once Jay was full, he started causing trouble again, throwing crumpled napkins at other tables. Some people noticed and gave him dirty looks but said nothing. Jay, aiming like a basketball player, threw a wad of paper at the next table, landing right in the hot pot of the two men. One of the strong men immediately stood up in anger and confronted Jay's parents. Jay, now frightened, began to scream and cry, but no tears came. Jay's father brushed him off and said, "It's just a piece of paper. You can still eat. Worst case, I'll pay for a new pot. It's not worth much." The man's face turned red with anger, and he was about to lose control, but his companion held him back. The strong man warned, "Raise your child properly, or I'll do it for you." The waiter brought them a new pot and rekindled the fire. While waiting for it to boil, the two men went to the bathroom together. Seeing them leave, Jay's mother grew bolder, cursing under her breath. Jay then ran to the men's table, made a mess, and surreptitiously took their car keys before returning to his seat. His parents praised him, saying he was a good son for getting back at them. Tragedy was about to strike. When the two men returned, they saw their table in disarray, noticed Jay's nonchalant demeanor, and saw his parents continuing to eat and drink as if nothing had happened. Unable to hold back any longer, the strong man grabbed Jay and within seconds shoved his face into the boiling pot. Jay struggled in agony as his parents first froze in shock, then frantically tried to pull the man away. At that moment, the other man pulled out a fruit knife and stabbed Jay's parents. The restaurant descended into chaos as the two men quickly fled amid the commotion. Police and paramedics soon arrived on the scene, but Jay and his parents were pronounced dead that day. Using surveillance footage, police quickly identified the two suspects and arrested them within a week. The men turned out to be fugitives wanted for murder. This incident caused quite a stir locally, but it wasn't until February 2024, when a movie based on the event was released, that the news spread throughout China. The movie once again brought to light the misbehavior of spoiled children and the negligence of their indulgent parents. The story has been retold by hundreds of social media bloggers, with some variations in the details of Jay's actions. However, the consistent elements include his parents' permissiveness, their bullying of others, Jay being forced into the boiling hot pot, and the fact that the two suspects were fugitives. Despite the tragedy, countless netizens applauded the criminals, saying they had served justice and should receive reduced sentences. Many felt a sense of satisfaction with the outcome. This sentiment probably stems from the fact that people often encounter spoiled children and their unreasonable parents in their daily lives, leaving many feeling frustrated. For example, in public spaces such as trains and airplanes, some children watch cartoons on their phones or tablets at high volume. When asked to turn down the volume, their parents not only refuse, but sometimes argue or fight with those who make the request. On January 31st, 2023, at Dianchi Lake in Yunnan Province, a little boy was seen forcibly pushing a seagull into a popcorn container, while his father instructed him and his mother recorded the scene, saying, "Grab its wings. Hold its wings." Horrified tourists nearby shouted for them to stop, but the boy continued. The mother justified their actions by saying, "We just want to take a picture." One tourist angrily replied, "What kind of picture? Your son torturing animals?" Under pressure from the crowd, the boy finally let go of the seagull, but they repeated the act 3 more times, only to be stopped each time by security guards and other tourists. A video of the incident went viral and quickly became a trending topic. Local police tracked down the boy and his parents, but because the case didn't meet the threshold for prosecution, they received only a verbal warning, and the boy's guardians were fined 2,000 RMB, or about $280. On January 28, 2023, at the Wuxi Zoo in Jiangsu Province, a boy suddenly rushed into the peacock enclosure and, in front of many visitors, grabbed a peacock and violently twisted its neck. The peacock struggled desperately, but the excited boy began to pull out its feathers. Shocked tourists shouted for him to stop, but the boy ignored them and continued until staff intervened. Only then did the boy's father appear. The netizen who filmed the video mentioned that after the boy violently abused the peacock, it was visibly injured. Throughout the incident, the boy's family did nothing to intervene, and only appeared when the zoo staff approached the boy. When this news reached the public, comments flooded in, with people saying things like, "No one cared when he was grabbing the peacock." But as soon as the staff took the boy away, the father suddenly showed up. What kind of family raises a child like that? Another comment said, "With this kind of cruelty, this boy might kill someone when he's older." Despite the seriousness of the situation, neither the boy nor his guardians faced any punishment. The zoo said it could only issue a verbal warning and couldn't take any further action. On January 31, 2023, in Harbin, Heilongjiang Province, a young woman was using the restroom on the subway when she saw a 6-year-old boy using the women's restroom without closing the door. She politely reminded him that this was the women's restroom and that boys shouldn't be in there. Immediately, the boy's mother flew into a rage, blocked the woman's path, and verbally attacked her, demanding that she apologize to her son.
独立行为能力吗？我问你。
我不知道。
道歉。我没有别的要求，跟孩子道歉，取得他的原谅。要不咱们谁也不走。
我为什么要取得他原谅？
因为你给他说哭了，你给他说哭了，知道了吗？
你进来，我看一个男的在卫生间，我很吃惊。
那你为什么要说他？我听见了，你很严厉的说他了。
我就说这是你女卫生间，你不应该进女卫生间。
你为什么要跟他说话？你找他的监护人。你妈妈呢？让他找监护人，知道吗？张亮，啊，你上这个厕所来。有个女的把那个孩子说哭了。你上卫生间这块来，你上卫生间这块来。
我刚没有很严厉说出来，
他哭了，我就要求你道歉。
那我现在我哭怎么办啊？
你是大人，你为什么要哭？你为什么要哭？我就想问你。
因为我在女卫生间，这是女卫生间。
她是女卫生间，对，这么点孩子，谁说这么点孩子不可以进女卫生间了？谁说的不可以？现在解决问题的方法就是你给孩子道歉，取得他的原谅。
你是。
不走不行，道歉必须。
这是女卫生间。
现在我要求你跟他道歉。
我不道歉，
那就谁也别走。
他几岁了？他几岁了
？6岁。
6岁都可以上小学了，你知道吗？
你是哪儿啊？你是哪儿的人？你农村的呀？6岁就他妈上小学？你农村的呀？他幼儿园咋？幼儿园不用老师看着呀？幼儿园他不分男女厕所吗？道歉不道歉，今天没完。
我不道。
道歉。
我不道。
道歉。
我不道。
道歉。我的妈妈必须道歉！你伤害我的孩子了，你伤害他的心灵了，你知道吗？你伤害他了。
In China, it's not uncommon for mothers to take their young sons into women's toilets or public bathrooms, though the children are usually under the age of 6. In this case, the boy's father was nearby, but not watching the child, while the mother, instead of being reasonable, aggressively blamed the woman. After the video went viral, the mother's identity was revealed, and it was revealed that she is a kindergarten teacher. During the pandemic in April 2022, delivery workers were not allowed to enter certain apartment complexes, so deliveries were left at the gates. Mr. Li, who lives in Hangzhou, Zhejiang Province, had his food deliveries stolen several times. At first, he thought the delivery people hadn't delivered the food, and he even argued with them. After several incidents, Mr. Li checked the surveillance footage at the property management office and discovered that it was a young neighborhood boy who was stealing the food. When he confronted the boy's family, the grandfather replied, "If your delivery came, why didn't you pick it up right away? It's not our problem." The boy, only 5 years old, was already stealing, but his family refused to admit any wrongdoing and even scolded Mr. Li. Furious, Mr. Li decided to teach them a lesson. He ordered 3 egg tarts through his delivery app and left a note saying, "Add extra spice. I love it spicy. Make it insanely spicy." The restaurant complied. When the delivery arrived, Mr. Li waited for a while before going to pick it up, and as expected, the food was gone. He had hoped this would deter the boy from stealing again, but the boy ended up eating the extremely spicy egg tarts and had to be hospitalized. Afterward, the boy's father began harassing Mr. Li through text messages, demanding 2,000 RMB, about $280 in medical expenses. They argued that Mr. Li had deliberately ordered the spicy food, knowing that the boy would steal it, and should therefore pay the hospital bill. When Mr. Li refused, they took him to court. Several months later, the court ruled that Mr. Li did not have to pay any compensation. In these cases, the children all come from intact families, most of them the only child. They receive love from their parents, and often from their grandparents. However, due to excessive pampering and even negative influences, they grow up with a poor sense of right and wrong, and when problems arise, they are often protected by their parents, leading to public outrage, and, in extreme cases, like the hot pot incident. Conflicts involving disruptive children are common, whether in parks, restaurants, or shopping malls. The police usually avoid getting involved unless the situation escalates between the parents and the other party. Restaurants, malls, hotels, and parks are all businesses focused on making money. Many restaurants tend to overindulge or cater to customers, sometimes at the expense of the well-being or dignity of their employees. Even when customers are unreasonable, restaurant management rarely asks them to leave or forbids them to return. If these situations happened in your country, how do you think these children and their parents would be treated? What do you think about this case? Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more crime stories, please like and subscribe to my channel.